Later today, in the remote expanse of Alaska's joint base, Elmendorf-Richardson, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will sit down for talks that, on paper, aim to end Russia's war on Ukraine. Trump insists Putin is not going to mess around with me, a line that plays well with his base but hardly amounts to a strategy. The stakes are high, but so is the theatre, and as history shows, these summits are as much about image as outcome. From Milov's analysis to Laurie Bristow's diplomatic realism, one fact emerges. Putin's signature on a peace deal is worth less than the paper it's printed on. Russia's track record in keeping international commitments is catastrophic. Arms control treaties shredded, human rights obligations ignored, territorial agreements violated, even the Minsk Accords, painstakingly brokered in 2014 to 2015 to Russia's advantage, became little more than a breathing space for the Kremlin to rearm and strike again. The Alaska meeting risks being Minsk 3 in orbit name. Chrystia Freeland's 2014 assessment reads almost prophetically. Putin's power is built on a domestic social contract that trades personal freedom for the illusion of restored imperial greatness in Russia. The wars in Georgia, Crimea, and now Ukraine follow the same script: fabricate a grievance, move troops in, annex territory, and then demand the world adjust to the new realities. This is not a dispute over policy differences. It is the deliberate destruction of a sovereign state to serve one man's grip on power. In classic conflicts, two parties have genuine disputes that can be narrowed to points of agreement. In this case, there are no such disputes, only a predator and its prey. Handing over Ukrainian territory for peace would be akin to rewarding a burglar with the deeds to your house. Worse, it would set a precedent for every ambitious autocrat with a tank division and a nostalgic map. Putin believes time is on his side. Western leaders rotate every few years. His tenure is for life. He is betting on sanctions fatigue, inflation, and energy pressures to erode Western resolve. Trump may talk tough, but Putin's calculation is that American electoral cycles and European political divisions will work in his favour. And perhaps he's right. Unless that calculation is broken, through sustained military, economic and political pressure, any ceasefire will simply be an intermission before Act 2. One wonders whether the joint base catering will play its own role in this intermission. Will it be producing ice creams in the Arctic? Putin's meeting with President Xi famously featured the most beautiful piece of chocolate cake, so memorable, in fact, that Trump mixed up the country he was bombing at the time. If the Alaska dessert trolley is too good, we may find the president drifting from Kherson to Hershey's in mid-sentence. And while Putin's poker face is legendary, so much Botox, that's if he's really alive or inhabiting that face, the prospect of moose stew or Alaskan king crab might thaw even his Arctic composure. Back home, A-level results week has put the university sector financial fragility under fresh light. The link may seem tenuous, but in a world where education budgets are cut to fund defence spending or humanitarian aid, domestic political pressures can quietly reshape foreign policy stances. Ukraine's fate is not decided in Kyiv alone, but in parliaments wrestling with their own voters' priorities. The Alaska meeting will not hinge on smiles, handshakes, or the menu. It will be decided by whether Putin feels constrained enough to see peace as the lesser of two evils. That constraint is not yet in place, I fear. As Milov argues, peace comes not when the shooting stops for a season, but when the aggressor is made to regret the war. Until then, every signature, every handshake, and toast is provisional. If today's summit produces a real breakthrough, it will defy not only the past decade of Russian behaviour, but the very logic of Putin's rule. Unless he is forced to see war as a personal liability, any peace will be the pause before the next storm. In Alaska, beneath the pleasantries and the possible profiteroles, that is the reality of both leaders, and the watching world must face that reality.